everybody, this is our week 2 video of our Callie and Tommy litter. We got the 5 boys inside. Kind of same thing we did last week. We're letting Callie just kind of have a little bit of time to herself. Thought it'd be easier just because they're still not moving around a whole lot for this video. Next week they'll be moving a lot more, so we'll be videoing from where they're actually at, which is there's a puppy room that is it's part of our house. It's on the same heating and cooling as our house, so you'll see all that probably next week. We do have a few that are up and walking around, so I'll kind of go over that and their little personalities as well. Big changes this week, and definitely next week you'll see a whole lot of changes, but they are growing. Everybody's doing great. Even little tiny man, Mr. Orange, is getting big. But a couple things that just want to go over. I know a lot of people have asked about paying their the final payment. It's due by the time they're 6 weeks old, and I will post on the blog. We don't do PayPal for that just because they take such a high percentage. But I will post the information as far as where you can mail a check. And all that information. It'll be on the blog too. If you have any questions, feel free to just let me know. But we will start with Mr. Red. Mr. Red was the first pup to open his eyes. You can see everybody's eyes are open now. Say hey. He actually has been developing the fastest, I guess you could say. He opened his eyes first. He was the first to walk. Yes, I'm talking about you. He's getting around pretty good, so doing the little puppy shuffle. But he's got a really pretty light colored coat. Really pretty boy. Still the biggest boys are going to be blue and black and brown are kind of all right there together. And then red, and then of course our little guy is Mr. Orange. So, but this is Mr. Red. Like I said, first to open his eyes. Pigments come in. And he's a pretty laid back boy. Kind of active, kind of in between personality. Just a really sweet boy. Likes to get up and move around, but also is not, for 2 weeks old, super active, I guess you could say, compared to a couple of the other ones. But this is Mr. Red. All right, the next one to open their eyes and move around is Mr. Black. Mr. Black's, hey, he's hungry. Yes, he's hungry. He's pretty laid back, pretty easygoing. Probably the most active right now is blue and orange. Black and brown are pretty lazy, just like to sleep a lot. But you can see he's a little bit bigger than Mr. Red. Loves to eat. He's got a pretty light colored coat too. Oh no, we're gonna go see your mama. I think the sun just went down. But this is Mr. Black. Next one is going to be Mr. Brown. Do I need to turn the light on, or is it pretty good? Let me turn the light on. Sorry. There we go. Mike can see him a little bit better. This is Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown is pretty lazy. Loves to be held. Loves to come inside and be cuddled. We're working with them a lot right now as far as we're running our fingers through their gums, through the paws of their pads, messing with their ears, just so they're getting used to being handled, and that there's not a no-touch zone is kind of how we like to put it. We want them to be comfortable with being handled. It'll make it a lot easier when you take them to the vet and stuff like that. So that's something that we have started. We started it last week. We started pretty much a few days after they're born, and that will continue on until they are 8 weeks old and they go home to you. So, yeah, he is a sleepy boy. Like I said, he's pretty laid back, pretty lazy. Still loves to be up against his mom. Still loves to be held. Real cuddly boy. Yeah. You dreaming? But his eyes are open. Brown and orange were the last two to open their eyes. They are also the last two to really get their footing and get up and moving. Brown just because he's slightly lazy. So I think that just kind of has a good bit to do with it. But this is Mr. Brown. All right. Next, we got Mr. Blue. Mr. Blue's a big boy. Yeah, he's a pretty boy too. Pretty outgoing. Like I said, we're still 2 weeks in. It's really hard to tell. I'm basing this off of kind of, you know, what I see as far as them moving around in the whelping box. Their personalities really won't kick in a lot until 4 or 5 weeks old, you know, when they're playing with each other. And we'll be able to tell a lot more then. So, you know, right now I like to just share kind of what we see as far as the way they're interacting with their mom, the way they're moving. You know, a lot of changes going on right now as far as opening their eyes and learning to walk. So, like I said, we like to share. He's up and moving, same as Mr. Red. Red, black, and blue are scooting around pretty good. Brown and orange are getting there. They're just about 2 or 3 days behind. These three guys opened their eyes first, and then 2 days later, brown and orange did. So, you know, it's funny to watch how they all kind of do things at their own pace. Say, I'm sleepy. They love to sleep. Are you smiling? So this is Mr. Blue. Last but definitely not least is Mr. Orange, our little man. And boy, has he got a personality. He is so funny. Still pushes all the big guys out of the way when it comes time to eat. We've had him checked out by our vet. He is perfectly fine. He's just going to be a little bit smaller. He's developing right on track like he should be. Eyes are open, starting to move around. See, I'm just a little bit smaller. But he loves to eat. I know you can't really tell by looking at him. He's actually gotten a good bit bigger, but this little guy will push everybody out of the way to get in there and eat. So he is tough, and he's got a cute little personality. We're also working with them where we flip them over and we get them used to being held upside down. We want them to do like this. We want them to completely relax. And I would say that it's working with this one. But we'll continue doing that until they go home to you. Like I said, running our fingers through the pads of their paws, through their gums, just getting them used to being handled. We take turns, you know, after they eat, we'll bring them in, and while we're sitting watching TV, we're working on getting them used to noises, vacuum cleaners, TVs. We have a 4-year-old son, so they're getting used to all the loud noises as well, and just keeping them well socialized, and that will also continue until they're 8 weeks old. Each week we'll be, you know, adding different things and just introducing them to new things. Yeah. So this is Mr. Orange, and I will lay them all out, which it doesn't seem like that's going to be a problem because they are all sound asleep. But just so you can see, we have Mr. Red, Mr. Brown, Mr. Blue, Mr. Black, and Mr. Orange. So just give you an idea as far as size and just the looks. Get a good look at them. I know we've talked to everybody about picking up, and we are going to be in Atlanta on Sunday, October the 28th. So I know we have some families that are flying in to pick up their puppies, and we will meet you in Atlanta, kind of help you out with the flight, because I know that the puppy will be flying back with you. So, you know, once you know your flight arrangements, let us know so we can go ahead and start working on what times we'll be there. We have 2 families that are actually picking up in Troy, so that'll be great. We'll coordinate that when we get a little bit closer. So we actually have 1 puppy that is staying in Troy, which I am super excited about. So, you know, most of the time, all of our puppies go pretty far and all over the United States. So it's pretty neat that we'll have one of these guys close to home. But everyone's doing great. We, you know, we don't really have many changes right now besides, you know, the fact of, you know, like I told you, their eyes are open, they're starting to walk around, and it's just going to be amazing over the next 2 weeks, really, what you'll see as far as their personalities go. Everyone's pigment's coming in well, noses are black, paws are turning black. So Callie's doing great. She's a great mom. She keeps them really clean. She does a great job. You can probably hear her throughout the video. She is barking. She doesn't like to be away from them for too long. A few minutes is fine, but about 10 minutes she's really missing these guys. But if y'all have any questions, feel free to send me an email, give me a call, whatever works best for you. Like I said, I'll post on the blog the information about the final payment, and we'll start working on getting that done. And the picking process starts when they are 6 weeks old, so we've still got a couple weeks for that. Along the way, if you have any questions about any puppies or want any information, feel free to send me a message, and I will be more than happy to help you out with that. So hope everybody has a great week. I will try to get some pictures posted this week as well, and we will have our week 3 video again next weekend. So we'll see you all back then.